Ya, gente, estamos a 3 minutos, exactamente 3 minutos de que ya suelten el gameplay, el reporte número 1 por parte de Wwe 2K22. Estoy nervioso, hermano, estoy muy nervioso. Creo que todos los creadores de contenido y fanáticos que llevan esperando este juego hace mil, estamos nerviosos, loco. Wow, esperar solamente. Yo creo que queda solamente esperar y no decepcionarse. Yo creo que es lo que llevamos todos esperando ya por más de casi 2 años, loco. Casi 2 años. Así que vamos a ver qué tal, qué pasa con el juego. Vamos a ver qué onda. Vamos a ver con qué nos sorprende el juego. 60 segundos, gente. 60 segundos ya. Y comienza este primer gameplay, gente. Gameplay de Wwe 2K22 oficialmente, loco. Oficialmente. Vamos a ver. Estoy emocionado, loco. Estoy emocionado. Rómpanlo ya, por favor. Rompan ya todo esto. Ya, listo. Se sabía. Vamos, mierda. Vamos, mierda. Por favor, tráenos un buen juego. Nada más que. Dale.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy TioAllendenZ. I'm the
By the teams at 2K and Visual Concepts.
Wwe 2K22.
And this year we're introducing the WWE 2K22 ringside report, the patches and other updates. 22. You might see some massive differences from previous cycles. And this is the best looking game yet.
Oh, it's pretty. It's so pretty. So the superstars, you know, in any WWE game are the backbone of the game, right? And so we have to make sure that we are doing our absolute best on representing every superstar to the best of our ability. Piggybacked on the same technology that you guys saw in NBA 2K22, where you know you look at their players and the details, just the lights look amazing. And so, like the cross polarization scans, improved hair, just to me, the amazing amount of detail that you'll see in our superstars is unparalleled. Yeah, so, you know, lighting is everything, right? So, like, all of these details and everything that we poured into our superstars wouldn't mean anything if they weren't lit properly, right? And so, if you know, take a look at this,
no, que venite ley style, loco.
Like, it looks
que me AJ.
And a lot of that is due to lighting.
Ese es Cyber Sunday. ¡Oh! En ese Cyber Sunday, weón.
And before I forget, there is also a ton of new and improved championships as well. And one of my personal favorites.
Well, bueno, weón, Cyber Sunday.
The team I work with most closely is the environments team. There are over 55 playable arenas, and we also have virtual as well. So you might see some familiar faces.
Oh yeah.
Bueno, ahí voy a estar yo ahí. Espero que sea bueno, no pido nada más de verdad, juego. No pido nada más.
Tiene que ser buena la wea.
So let's roll the footage.
So at this point, one of the things we very intentionally called out to our fan base is that we have a redesigned gameplay experience. And starting with Jason, can you talk about what that means?
Sí, distintas las barras de abajo. Las barras de abajo son distintas. La cámara está...
La cámara muy cerca.
This system has allowed us to greatly improve the look and the feel of the characters. Basically, everything from the way the characters move and they traverse through the world, how they align with each other during attacks has been completely overhauled and redone. Players are going to notice a significant difference the moment they pick up the controller. The characters are way more responsive than they've ever been. You no longer feel like you're fighting to control your character to get them into position to do what you want. Strikes, dives, springboards, they all connect more precisely. And that's also something that we really struggled with and took to heart and tried to resolve this year. Another key change that we've made to the game engine this year is our physics system. While the series has always had Havoc to some degree, it's primarily used for only pair and quad simulation. For 2K22, we've completely integrated Havoc into gameplay, which has allowed us to introduce things like breakable props. Tables, they break more dynamically.
Ay, tenés que pulsar esta vez.
And even elements within the environment itself are now dynamically breaking, such as like the corner barricade, instead of relying on a canned sequence animation. It's a really big change and has helped to make the entire gameplay experience feel more dynamic.
Awesome. Derek, same question.
So for me, when we sat down to figure out how we were going to change gameplay for 2K22, one of the biggest things that is making sure we're not, you know, smoothing over a lot of the details that returning fans like. So all of the high level of control that
Qué
you
rara
expect
se ve la
about the
cámara,
character,
weón.
all of the
Sí,
high
weón.
degree of customization you expect, all of that still remains. So light attacks, those are your quick strikes, the fastest attacks in the
Ya.
game.
Los
Heavy
combos
attacks,
piola.
those are kind of like strong strikes from previous years.
Ya
They're
se sabe
bigger,
que es con
slower
cuando
strikes
hacen las
that do
llaves.
more damage. And then finally grapples, those are where some of the bigger changes come into play.
Bueno, el
So you
círculo
press
así
the grapple
la...
button once to lock up with your opponent, but then from there you can press light, you can press heavy. Those will do your light and heavy grapples.
Ahora con el
There's all sorts
otro,
of other options.
el
Irish
reverso.
whips, drag,
Es muy
parry,
juego de
all of
pelea
those things
normal,
come
así
from the
como...
grapple state. So once you grapple your opponent, you have a lot of possibilities opened up to you.
Back to one point that Derek touched on earlier, which was about the accessibility of this game and being able to just pick it up and play. And I want to call this out mainly because I myself am a much newer player to WWE 2K. So for me, picking up and playing has been the whole experience. The controls are super easy to learn. And while my own habits fall back on button mashing the controller, even though we have that, I enjoy having to be very strategic and intentional about how I'm approaching this game, especially when it comes to the timing of things like reversals or finishers. So I can definitely attest to, hey, if you're feeling intimidated by this, please don't. Pick it up, try it out. You'll have such a blast. But also, if you're a vet and you've been playing this for a long, long time, can y'all talk about how vets can better show off their moves and what that means for the overall strategy of their experience?
So a lot of the strategy for our game comes with the new defensive options that we've added this year. So one of the biggest examples is breakers. Instead of reversals being the only tool for countering your opponent's attacks, grapples and combos actually don't use reversals. Instead, you counter them with a breaker. So when you're doing a grapple or a combo on your opponent, they can counter that attack by pressing
¿A
the
qué se
same
refiere con
light,
grapple?
heavy, or grapple input against
Como
you.
agarrarlo, parece.
So those moves are countered with breakers. Everything else is countered with a reversal. So knowing what kind of attack you expect your opponent to perform can already prime you to know how you want to counter it. So there's already a mind game with that level. Then you have blocking, which is all new. If you hold down the reversal button, you enter a blocking stance, and that lets you withstand light, heavy, and running attacks. And then you can counterattack faster than your opponent can after blocking. You can also dodge with the right bumper. So you can kind of choose a direction and get out of the way really quickly if you time your dodge correctly, but it's higher risk than a block. And then when you're on the ground, you also can button mash to get up faster, or you can press right bumper to do a quick get up at the cost of some resource. So when you have all of those defensive options available to you, it makes when you're on defense, it's a lot more strategic, but also when you're on offense, you have to be careful with how you want to attack your opponent so that they don't counter you.
So our community has been speculating about the HUD and like guessing like what, you know, these little glowing meters mean and all this stuff. Jonathan, I'm gonna let you be the first to break this down and break the news, and let's dive into the HUD and give the community some clarity here.
So our goal was to create a HUD that strips down all unnecessary aspects and simply gives the user the information that they need without distracting the user from the in-game action. So at the very top, you'll have the vitality meter, and this is basically your health bar. Below that, you'll find a special meter, which is a resource you want to spend to perform signatures,
Eso es como para el remate,
or
Okay.
defensive action. Finally, at the bottom is your finisher meter, where you can store up to 3 stocks.
So there's
Una
one
especie
thing
del
that's
movimiento
missing,
personal y el
like,
otro
the
el
Tú
remate.
el remate.
reverse stock. Can you talk a little bit more about like, you know, the changes we made there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, obviously the biggest change that we made was removing the reversal stock from the HUD. We felt that 2K20's matches came down to how the users manage their reversal stock. We wanted to bring a bit more skill to a match by giving the users unlimited reversals, but making them a little bit more difficult to execute. In our internal matches with 2K22, we get wild swings and back and forth and a bunch of oh so close moments that we really feel make the match memorable. And in addition to that, we added a new stun meter that shows up on the characters when it's close to being killed. So we're really excited to show off our new HUD and for
Ya sé que ahora me gustó.
all of the new additions.
Esa cámara se ve buena.
Streamlined.
Sí, está como más dinámico.
Cool. Like one of the things that, you know, at the end of the match where I'm like, you know, in previous years or, you know, iterations, once you basically knew once your opponent didn't have any reversal stock, all you had to do was hit your Sega finisher, match was over. That's not the case anymore, right? Like someone can just pull out like a reversal and this back and forth. And so Derek, can you talk about the how strategy is incorporated into that part of this new mechanic?
Yeah, so with reversals no longer being on a limit, that opens up a lot of possibilities for how your opponent can counter you, right? Like they could always pull a reversal out, or if you're using combos and grapples, they could hit you with a breaker. But the stun meter that Jonathan mentioned earlier, that's one of your biggest tools for making sure that you can pull off your biggest move without getting countered. So lighter attacks, while they don't do as much damage to the vitality of the opponent, they're better at filling your opponent's stun. And if you can get their stun meter filled, that's your opportunity to perform an attack without the risk of getting a reversal or a breaker.
Button mashing is back, y'all. Like, I love it. It creates a whole new level of like intensity in those tight matches. And yeah, like I gotta practice my finger strength on that just so I can beat everyone down when this game goes online.
Bueno.
All right, y'all, we can go on and on, but unfortunately we're out of time. So to close out, now that we're nearing the end of production, what are y'all looking forward to most for the game, whether for your own experience or with players specifically? Let's start with Jason, then Derek, then Jonathan.
I'm ready to deliver.
You two, get in the ring.
For me, it's the backstage.
Chase mode, playing some classic matches that were recreated for WWE 2K22. So I think people are going to be really excited about that.
Awesome. Well,
¿Ya?
Chela.
Se viola. Bueno, nos soltaron bastante información del juego, bastante movida, distintos estilos de cámara, roster que igual creo que no habían anunciado previamente en los distintos trailers que se nos han presentado. Eso y mucho más, a mí me parece excelente. Me parece, igual siento que falta que nos entreguen más información, obviamente. Este es el primer reportaje, si no me equivoco, que van a hacer durante este mes de febrero. Se vendrán más, supongo, antes de que salga oficialmente el juego. Así que es cosa de esperar. Se viene totalmente bueno el juego. Ya vimos este gameplay de Rey Mysterio contra Damian Priest en Monday Night Raw. Y un poquito de adelanto de Cyber Sunday 2008, cuando Kane se enfrentó a Rey Mysterio también en un No Holds Barred, si no me equivoco. Y mucho más, loco. Lo que nos han presentado es bastante agradable. Ya sabemos que Cyber Sunday 2008 va a estar un evento totalmente bueno y que hoy en día está olvidado por WWE. Así que genial. Me parece genial el gameplay. Me parece genial algunos cambios de cámara. Siento que igual uno se va a tener que acostumbrar un poco a este nuevo como cámara central que tiene en el ring, pero dentro de todo para mí está espectacular. Déjenme en sus comentarios qué les pareció este gameplay, qué les pareció este reportaje, la visual y todo. Se viene brutal, de verdad chicos, denle un me gusta a este video, compártelo con sus amigos y let's go.